Earth had changed, and not for the better. Decades of wars and alien invasions had left the planet weak and broken. Cities lay in ruins, and the sky was often dark with smoke and ash. Humans struggled to survive, and every day seemed harder than the last. In one hidden laboratory deep underground, a small group of scientists worked on a project no one believed in. The project was called the Prototype. It was meant to be humanity's last hope, a living weapon to fight the aliens, but it had a problem, a big one. It had no legs, no way to move on its own, and most people said it was useless. They laughed at it, calling it weak and hopeless. Why waste time on this? They asked. Even some of the scientists had given up, shaking their heads. But one person did not give up. Her name was Dr. Mara Vey, a human medic and a genius in both biology and engineering. Mara looked at the prototype with sharp eyes. She saw not a broken machine, but a seed of possibility. She saw something the others could not. If she could rebuild it, combine flesh and steel in a new way, maybe the prototype could become more than anyone imagined. The lab was silent except for the low hum of machines. Mara moved carefully, her hands steady as she connected wires and applied advanced biology. The prototype's metal frame gleamed under the dim lights. Its mechanical arms were strong, but without legs, it seemed helpless. Yet Mara spoke softly to it, almost as if encouraging it. "Don't listen to them," she whispered. "They don't see what you can become outside the lab." Other humans watched through surveillance screens. Some shook their heads in disbelief. Some laughed quietly, thinking Mara was wasting her time. The aliens themselves, monitoring from afar, probably laughed too. "They are weak," one alien commander said in a cold, echoing voice. "They cannot create anything strong." But Mara ignored all of them, her mind focused on the prototype. She was not just building a machine. She was building hope. Hours turned into days, and Mara worked without stopping. She tested new implants and reinforced the frame. She added small circuits that could interface with the prototype's nervous system. She injected regenerative fluids that could heal its organic parts. Slowly, very slowly, the prototype began to respond. Its sensors blinked, its head moved slightly, a spark of life shone in its mechanical eyes. Mara smiled, a small but proud smile. The others outside the lab gasped. "Is it moving?" One whispered. "Yes," Mara said quietly. "It is learning." But the aliens would not wait forever. They had spies and drones scanning for unusual activity. The lab's alarms were ready to ring at the first sign of trouble. Mara knew this, but she felt no fear. She only felt determination. The prototype had no legs, yes, and the world thought it had no future. But Mara knew something the others did not. This small, mocked creation could one day change everything. And as night fell over the ruined city above, Mara's fingers hovered over the final activation switch. The prototype's eyes glowed brighter. It made a sound, small but full of promise. "They laugh at us now," Mara said softly, "but they will see soon enough." The prototype was alive, or at least, it was beginning to feel alive. Its sensors blinked, its mechanical arms twitched, and tiny sparks ran along its body. Mara Vey watched every movement carefully, her heart racing with a mix of fear and excitement. She knew that what she was doing was dangerous. The aliens could detect unusual energy from miles away, and if they found out, the lab would be destroyed. But Mara could not stop. Not now. She had seen too much potential, and the world had no time for doubt. The first challenge was movement, without legs. The prototype could only roll on small wheels. It could barely lift itself from the ground. But Mara had an idea. She began designing new limbs, combining flesh and steel. Muscles made from synthetic fibers stretched across strong titanium bones. Each joint moved smoothly, almost like a human's. Mara worked day and night, adjusting, testing, and rebuilding. She spoke softly to the prototype as she worked. "Trust me," she said. "You will walk soon." Meanwhile, rumors of her work spread among the other scientists. Some were curious, some were terrified. One senior engineer warned her, "You are playing with fire, Mara. This thing could destroy itself. Or worse, us." Mara shook her head. "I am not afraid of fire," she said calmly. "I am afraid of doing nothing." Days passed, and the prototype's limbs were ready. It struggled at first, moving awkwardly on its new legs. It fell several times, smashing parts of the lab. Each fall made the watching scientists gasp, but each time it got up, Its strength grew. It was learning. Faster than anyone expected. Mara cheered quietly when it finally stood on its own. For the first time, it took a step forward, clumsy but certain. Then another, and another. The room was filled with low murmurs of disbelief. Even the doubters could not hide their amazement. But progress attracted attention. A small alien drone hovered near the surface of Earth, scanning for unusual energy signatures. It detected the prototype's power, a mix of organic life and metal machinery. The aliens would investigate soon. Mara knew. She had no choice but to accelerate her work. The prototype needed more strength, more agility, more intelligence. Mara connected neural circuits to its brain. It could now understand commands faster. It could anticipate movements before they happened, and something strange happened. The prototype began to act on its own, exploring the lab, testing its strength, even before Mara could guide it. It was learning independence, a spark of awareness. Mara felt both awe and unease. "Good," she said quietly, "but don't get too far ahead." At night, the lab was silent except for the hum of machinery. Mara sat on a chair, watching the prototype practice walking and lifting weights. She whispered, "You are not just a weapon, you are hope." The prototype's glowing eyes turned toward her, almost as if it understood. Outside, the ruined city lay in darkness, unaware of the miracle growing below, and somewhere far away, alien sensors detected the energy. They were curious now, perhaps suspicious. The prototype's first steps had not gone unnoticed. Mara knew the real test was coming. The prototype could walk, it could move, but could it fight? Could it survive an actual battle against the aliens? She did not know yet, but one thing was certain. No one had believed in this creation before. No one had thought it could move. But now, the impossible was happening, and Mara smiled. The world was about to see that even broken things could rise. The prototype had grown stronger, faster, and smarter. Its new legs carried it across the lab with grace. Its mechanical arms were precise and strong. Maravey watched with a mixture of pride and worry. Today would be the first real test, not just practice in the lab, but a tested against the alien drones that had been spotted nearby. The drones hovered outside, small but deadly. Their sensors could detect heat, movement, and energy signatures. They were programmed to destroy any threat, and the prototype was now a threat. Mara took a deep breath. She tapped a few commands on the console, and the prototype's eyes glowed bright blue. It understood. The lab doors opened, and the prototype rolled forward. Then it leapt, landing on its new legs with a heavy thud. Outside, the drones detected it immediately. They fired small laser pulses. The prototype dodged, faster than anyone expected. It leaped behind a destroyed building and countered with mechanical arms. Smashing the drone's wings, sparks flew as metal crashed against metal. The drones regrouped, but the prototype was ready. It calculated their movements, predicting every strike before it happened. Its movements were quick, precise, and lethal. One by one, the drones fell. Explosions lit up the ruined city as the prototype stood among the wreckage, calm and unstoppable. Mara watched on the control screen, her pulse racing. This was the moment she had hoped for. The prototype was no longer a machine without legs. It was alive, it was learning, it was fighting, and the best part, it was thinking on its own, making decisions faster than Mara could. The prototype paused for a moment, scanning the horizon. Its glowing eyes reflected determination. It moved forward again, faster this time. Chasing the remaining drones, the drones tried to attack as a group, but the prototype outsmarted them. It used its environment, pushing debris onto them, smashing them against walls. Even Mara had to cover her mouth in disbelief. "It's amazing," she whispered. "This is more than I imagined." But the prototype was not just fighting for practice. It was learning every move, every weakness, every tactic. It was becoming more than just a weapon. It was becoming a soldier, a defender, and somewhere, in the alien command network, signal blinked with confusion. "They are creating something alive," one alien said. "They are not supposed to do this." The prototype returned to the lab after its first mission, its body scratched and slightly damaged, but it stood tall, proud, and aware of its own strength. Mara ran to it, examining every detail. "You did it," she said. "You fought, and you learned." But even in victory, Mara felt a shiver of caution. The prototype was changing, evolving. It was no longer just a creation, it was becoming independent. capable of thinking and acting without commands, and while humans celebrated this first strike, the aliens began to prepare. They would not ignore this new threat for long. The prototype had shown its power, and the war for Earth's survival had officially begun. Mara looked at the prototype one last time before shutting down the systems for the night. "You are ready?" she said quietly. "Tomorrow, we fight for real." The prototype's eyes blinked once, almost as if agreeing, and deep in the ruined city, the first sparks of a new rebellion began to burn. The prototype had grown beyond expectations. Its legs carried it faster than any human could run. Its arms could crush metal with ease, and its mind was sharp, learning from every battle. Marave watched as her creation prepared for the real test. The alien forces were coming, and this time, it would not be drones. It would be soldiers, fully armed, ready to destroy everything. The sky darkened with the shadows of alien ships. They hovered above the ruined city, scanning for movement. Mara activated the lab doors, and the prototype stepped out. Its glowing eyes reflected the fire of determination. Humans nearby watched from hiding, fear and hope in their eyes. "This is it," Mara whispered. "It is now or never." The first wave of alien soldiers dropped to the ground, their weapons raised, their movements precise. But the prototype did not hesitate. It moved like a storm, fast and unstoppable. It dodged energy blasts, smashed metal shields, and sent soldiers flying with powerful strikes. Each movement was calculated, intelligent, and deadly. The humans could hardly believe their eyes. The prototype, once mocked for having no legs, was now the ultimate weapon. Aliens tried to flank it from the sides, but the prototype anticipated their moves, spinning and striking with perfect timing. It tore through their ranks, leaving chaos behind. Mara guided it with subtle commands, but mostly, it acted on its own. It had learned independence, and now it was proving it. Every strike was precise, every motion efficient. The prototype was more than a weapon, it was a force of nature. The alien commander arrived, tall and imposing, its armor gleaming under the dark sky. It stared at the prototype with disbelief. "This is impossible," it growled. "This creature should not exist." But the prototype did not hesitate. It lunged at the commander, its arms moving faster than the eye could follow. The commander swung its weapon, but the prototype dodged, using speed and intelligence to gain the upper hand. Metal clashed against metal, sparks flew, and the ground shook under their power. Humans watched in awe as the battle unfolded. They had never seen anything like this. A creation that was once hopeless had become their greatest defender. The prototype used its environment cleverly, pushing debris and collapsing walls to trap the aliens. Its strategy was perfect, blending human creativity with raw mechanical strength. The commander realized it was being outsmarted. It could not anticipate the prototype's moves. It had never fought something like this before. Mara's heart pounded as she saw her creation move with purpose. She had risked everything, and now it was paying off. The prototype had become more than a weapon. It had become a symbol of human ingenuity, courage, and defiance. The aliens were falling back, their ranks broken and confused. The prototype stood tall among the ruins, its eyes glowing with victory, but Mara knew this was only the beginning. The war was far from over, and the prototype had only just begun to show what it was capable of. As the sun began to rise over the ruined city, Mara looked at the prototype with pride and worry. "You did it," she whispered, "but the real battles are coming." The prototype's gaze shifted to the horizon, ready, alert, and full of power, and somewhere, far away, the aliens began to regroup. They would return, stronger and angrier, but for now, Earth had its first true defender, and hope had been reborn in the form of flesh, steel, and human defiance. The battlefield was silent for a moment, broken only by the distant hum of alien ships. The prototype stood tall among the ruins, its glowing eyes scanning for any remaining enemies. The humans who had hidden watched in awe, their hearts pounding with hope and fear. Marave approached, carefully, her hands shaking with relief and excitement. "This is it," she whispered. The final strike. The alien commander, wounded but alive, roared in rage. It had underestimated the prototype. It had thought Earth's creation would fail, but now it faced something stronger, faster, and smarter than anything it had ever encountered. The commander swung its massive weapon, a deadly blade of alien alloy. The prototype dodged effortlessly, spinning and striking with calculated precision. Each blow from its arms and legs smashed armor, bent metal, and sent sparks flying. It fought not just with strength, but with strategy, using walls, debris, and broken structures to its advantage. The humans gasped as the prototype finally cornered the alien commander. It moved with grace and power, a perfect combination of flesh, steel, and intelligence. With one final strike, it brought the commander down. The alien fell to the ground, defeated. The remaining alien soldiers hesitated, confused by what they had just witnessed. Without their leader, their formation collapsed. They fled to their ships, retreating from Earth's defender. Victory belonged to humanity. At least for now. Mara ran to the prototype, examining it for damage. Its body was scratched, dense, covered. Its metal parts and small sparks flew from its circuits, but it stood proud, alert, and aware. "You did it," Mara said. "You protected humanity." The prototype turned its glowing eyes toward her, almost as if it understood. It was no longer just a creation. It was a hero, a symbol of hope, and a defender of Earth. The humans emerged from hiding, cheering, hugging each other, and celebrating. For the first time in decades, they felt hope. Earth had a champion, a living weapon born from defiance and human ingenuity. But Mara knew the war was far from over. The aliens would return, stronger and more determined, and the prototype would need to fight again. She smiled, a mixture of pride and concern on her face. "You are ready?" she whispered. But the journey has only begun. As night fell over the ruined city, the prototype stood on a tall building, its glowing eyes scanning the stars. It seemed aware of the larger battle ahead. The humans watched, silently, feeling awe and trust in the creation they had once mocked. Mara placed her hand on the prototype's arm. "You are more than a machine," she said. "You are the future." Far away, in the darkness of space, alien commanders watched their retreating forces. They could not believe what had happened. Creation they thought weak had destroyed their army. They would return, and when they did, Earth would be ready, the prototype would be ready. Mara and humanity had forged something unstoppable, and even in the darkest times, hope had risen from brokenness. Flesh, steel, and defiance had won the day. The legend of the prototype had begun, and Earth's fight for survival had found its first true hero.